All right. Greetings. My name's Mookie, or Marc, if you prefer, from 88.5 The SoCal Sound here in Southern California. Please know that we are a listener-supported public radio station. Donate if you can, support the mission, and support the cause through thesocalsound.org. Michael McArthur is in studio today. I wish I could be there, man, but I'm just not feeling well. So it wouldn't be right. I don't want to get you sick, especially because you're going on this promo run and meeting a bunch of people.
Well, I appreciate that. You're missed. And like I said, your presence is definitely felt, man. This place is great.
It really is. I've worked with a lot of stations, a lot of commercial stations in the past, but our studios, where you're sitting at right now, is airy and open, and it's got windows that look outside. It's actually quite the facility.
It's up in the trees. You see, I got the trees over here. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. So you gave us 3 songs, and we're going to get into a live performance, sort of a stripped down performance of 3 songs in studio in just a moment here. Who did you bring to perform with you today?
Got my buddy Josh Davis with me, and Josh is great because we've been friends for a long time. We went to high school together. We lived together for 5 years. And we've been playing together for about 12 years. So he's my best friend. And every time I write a song, he's the first person I send it to, get his feedback, and he's got a great ear. And he, aside from me, he knows the music better than anyone. So it's nice to have 2 minds working on things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So you guys are true collaborators, it sounds like.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll start. As soon as the song is written, and it's usually just like an acoustic demo, we'll start talking about, what we want to do with it when it comes time to record it.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll write and be like, oh my God, I love this part. What if we did this here? Or what if we put drum? What if we didn't start the drums until this part or whatever? We're always thinking about what to do with the song.
Mm-hmm. Well, today we're getting some stripped down versions. Like I said, I have seen the full band a few weeks ago at a music conference in Boulder, Colorado, which was an absolute blast. Yeah. And again, michaelmacarthurmusic.com is the website if people want to, pre-purchase the upcoming record or delve into some other things, a previous release, or you could get the merch like the T-shirt and stuff like that. Milky Stars coming out in September. Our listeners have been hearing the song Lady Luck on the air as of late. And it looks like you dropped a brand new music video for Run Around just a few days ago as well. Who came up with the concept of that music video? Because I just watched it.
Did you? Okay, cool. I hope you liked it. It was a collaborative effort between me and the director, Luis de Pina. And so Run Around is interesting because the lyric is simple on the surface, but there is a story within the story. So it's not so much about the female character, because in the chorus, it's like, listen up, son, you're never going to be fast enough. She's going to town and she's running around. It's not so much about her as it is about one's inability to value themselves. So it's kind of like that thing where if you feel like this is all you deserve, then it's all you ever have. So Run Around is as a cycle. It's a circle of either taking yourself down to lift someone else up or putting someone down to be lifted up, which I think we're all guilty of at some point in our lives. And so when it came to making the music video, I wanted to make something a little abstract. And so Louis, the director, kind of came back with this dream within a dream idea and this sequence of the central character who I play, even though it's not like me and just playing a character, but he wakes up, but when he wakes up, he's waking up in a dream and he's chasing this female character who doesn't exist in real life. She only exists in the dream. So, and every time she touches him, he wakes up, but when he wakes up, he's waking up in the dream.
Right.
So, I don't know, just like it's interesting, wanting what you can't have. And
maybe it's like falling in love with the idea of something.
For sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let's get into some live music, and then we'll come back and have more of a chin wag, as the British people say. So we're going to get into a Winding River and then Run Around, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more with Michael McArthur. And this is 88.5 The SoCal Sound.
1, 2, 3, 4. come sit and talk to me. Your wooden skin has gone soft and pale. You can trade LA for New York City, and free will for the wishing well. Hold fast, my love, eyes on me. Oh, the winding river is hard to read. Think of giving up, but don't you dare. Oh, the winding river leads somewhere. Well, that's it. It's over now. Made plans forward with yesterday's news. Couldn't find a way to work it out, but you did all you could do. Hold fast, my love, eyes on me. Oh, the winding river is hard to read. Think of giving up, but don't you dare. Oh, the winding river leads somewhere. And there's light, love in the morning. Yes, there's light, love in the morning. The milky stars are on fire again, and there ain't a map to guide you through. Of all the places that you've never been, there's a universe in you. Oh, the winding river. Oh, the winding river. Oh, the winding river. Oh, the winding river. It's all night long, a stranger blowing up her phone. She'll try to say that she don't know. Here we go. Well, can't you tell that she don't play the lie so well? And neither could the souls who fell. Well, here we go. Listen up, son, you're never gonna be fast enough. Doesn't matter if you think she's fun. She's going to town and she's running around. Rain rolls in, you sit and wait, wondering how to tempt trouble again. Here we go. And don't you know the quickest way to make circles is tie a knot in your blindfold. Well, here we go. Listen up, son, you're never gonna be fast enough. Doesn't matter if you think she's fun. She's going to town and she's running around. Listen up, son, you're never gonna get close enough. Won't matter when the damage is done. She's going to town and she's running around. Chase for the keep, not the rush. Hunt for the gold, not the blood. It's the same old thing. Dirty road, dusty wings. Tell me, my friend, how far did you get? Oh. Well, listen up, son. You're never gonna get close enough. It won't matter when the damage is done. She's going to town and she's running around her. Well, listen up, son, now. You're never gonna run far enough. It won't matter when you're ash and dust. She's going to town, still running around. Oh. No, no, no.
All right, there you go. That was Run Around. And of course, Winding River was just before that. Are both of these brand new songs coming up on the upcoming album?
Yes. So these are all singles from the album. The album comes out on September 16th. And aside from Run Around, they were all written during the pandemic. So Run Around was a song that I actually wrote about 9 years ago and put it out on an EP back in 2015. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't, a lot of those EPs from the early days are not available anymore. So it's kind of like, if you got it, you have it.
I noticed that there's a Evergreen, Everrain. People could get their hands on that, but there's right, like you said, a couple of EPs floating around out there somewhere, right?
There are, yeah. And so, I mean, well, back in the day, if you bought an album, if it was no longer for sale, that was it. But now with, Spotify and Apple Music, things live forever. And I didn't necessarily want those things to live forever because, as an artist and when you're a creative person and you're sort of honing your craft and finding your voice and your style and all that stuff, the earliest stuff may or may not be the best. So, but there are a few songs that have kind of risen to the top that are still good, and Run Around was one of them. Mm-hmm. I just sort of finessed the lyrics a little bit more and recorded it with Jakir, who produced the record. And I mean, it just came out so good.
Going back to your, what you might call formative years, originally you are from Florida?
Central Florida, yeah, a town called Lakeland, which is right in between Tampa and Orlando.
And was just music part of your day-to-day upbringing? Was it music in the household?
There was, yeah. So my mom is Puerto Rican, so she was listening to, like Julio Iglesias and Jose Feliciano and Gloria Estefan and people like that.
Yeah.
And then my dad and my uncles and his brothers, when they were my age, they all wrote songs and played guitar and piano and all that stuff. So I did grow up around music, and I started singing when I was a kid. I mean, when I was in chorus in elementary school, and I always kind of credit Stevie Wonder and Boyz II Men and Bill Withers for teaching me how to sing, because I would just sing to their records. Like I would just put my headphones on and sing around the house, and was in band in middle school, played percussion. So my first instrument was technically percussion.
Cool.
And then when I was in high school, my grandfather bought me my first guitar and I started writing songs.
And then you've been putting out music really since 2010 roughly? I mean, and we're talking about over a decade now.
Yes. Yeah. The first EP came out in 2012. So we're right at 10 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe it. And there's so many people who are unfamiliar with the Michael McArthur music so far. And I guess that's why we're here. The song Lady Luck sounds great on the air. And we've been getting some tremendous feedback. And we're certainly here to support you.
Thank you, man.
So now you're going on a bit of a promo run, visiting some people as you're here on the West Coast. Will there be a proper tour? Is the question coming soon?
Yes. So since last December, my life has changed completely. For 10 years, I put out music completely independently, booked all my own shows, traveled alone, slept in my car, did all the marketing, did everything on my own, did Kickstarter campaigns, spent my savings, whatever it took to sort of bootstrap the releases of those EPs and even the first full-length album. And after making this album with Jakir King, who, by the way, I sent a few demos that I had recorded at home to him on Instagram. I sent them to him in a cold Instagram DM, and we weren't connected in any way. And a couple of weeks later, he wrote back and he was just like, "Man, I love these songs. Let's get on the phone and talk about it." And fast forward, we made the record, and he was like, "I can't make any promises. I love this album. I love these songs. I believe in you, and I'll do whatever I can to help. I don't know what that means, but I'll do whatever I can to help." So he started sending it to people. And one of those people that he sent it to was Susan and Jock at Transoceanic Records.
Okay.
And so they loved the album, and now here we are. So signed my first record deal, management deal, got the radio promoters and stuff, and Soundly Music is doing all the digital distribution and marketing. And then now we're working on, booking a tour and getting, securing an agent and all that stuff.
It's amazing. Would you rather not be involved with sort of the business end of things? I mean, the way you're talking to me right now is like, it's kind of inside baseball, getting real nerdy about music industry stuff,
Yes.
But do you enjoy sort of, doing that end of the business as well? I know you've been there, done that, doing your own marketing, sleeping in your car sort of thing. So it must feel good to have a great team behind you.
Oh, absolutely. It's a game changer. I mean, it's like, I would spend my days writing emails. I would write emails for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I would do all these things that had nothing to do with writing songs. You know what I mean? So, or being creative. It's a necessary part. But, my background is when I was 19, my brother and I opened up a restaurant in our hometown. And then I would eventually leave 3 years later to start pursuing music for a living. So the business side of it is something that, I've had a job since I was 14. I understand how important it is to work hard and earn money to make it a sustainable thing. So, but to answer your question, yes, I'm so glad I don't have to do some of these things anymore because it allows me to be creative, but I'm also glad I had the experience.
Yeah, for sure. Is that restaurant still around?
Still there.
What is it called?
It's called Black and Brew.
Okay. And so what sort of fare might people get there? Is it a gastropubby sort of place?
It's a coffee shop, and they've got salads and sandwiches and flatbreads and things. And
awesome.
How it, for me, I jumped into that because it was my way to avoid pursuing music for a living, because I come from a place of terrible stage fright. So back then I was writing songs, but they were just for me, and I wouldn't even play for my mom, And so how I stayed connected to music was I would book all the shows for the coffee shop. So I'd open the store, get there at 5 o'clock, work all day, and then stay for the band and run the sound at night.
Wow.
And then eventually, I finally got the courage to leave and start doing music.
So was that, so you had a stage, I imagine maybe an open mic night here or there. Was that your first sort of experience getting in front of people and sharing your music?
Well, I didn't play at the restaurant while I worked there. So I played my first real show back in 2011 with Josh, actually. And we played it at Black and Brew. And we know a lot of people in town, so it was packed. And I was just like terrified, man, petrified. Like I think we played 8 or 9 songs.
Yeah.
And back then, I was just like, when the show was over, I was so happy because I was like, it's over, yes. But now I'm so pumped to like get on stage. It's a very different thing.
You're over the hump, right? You don't mind, right? That's incredible. You mentioned that this new album, again, it's coming out next month, Milky Stars. And we'll get into some more music, sort of a stripped down version of Lady Luck in just a second here before we wrap it up. But, it more or less is a pandemic record. Does the subject matter in most of those songs reflect what had been going on while we were all in lockdown?
They do in a way. For example, Lady Luck, since you mentioned it, I mean, it's a simple song about being, for want of a better way to put it, down on your luck and wanting things to change. Those are the lyrics. And once the pandemic hit, that was the first time in my life that I didn't have a plan and I didn't know what to do. So I'd gone from releasing music and being on the road for 10 years essentially and staying busy to being home indefinitely. And home was a place of solace and creativity for me. I would always love coming back home because I could start working on songs and being creative. But when you have no choice but to be home, it kind of changes the game a little bit. So I went through a few dark periods of, drinking in the morning and being, I hope not sharing too much, but being drunk and then sober before the afternoon kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
it was a kind of a dark period. So Lady Luck was born out of that. And a lot of the songs were, and it was about 4 months of being unproductive. And then I finally started writing songs and figuring out what it is I wanted to say and write about. O Sedona, for example, which is on the record, my grandmother, who she passed away right before the pandemic. And so we never got a chance to celebrate her life. So that was my way of memorializing her. So that's just another example of, the pandemic.
Amazing.
Inspiring songs.
And Evergreen Ever Rain came out, in 2019. Were you even able to properly promote that record? Or did the pandemic just sort of squash all of that?
It squashed it. Yeah. So I toured, it came out in January of 19. I toured all of 2019 and my plan was to do the same in 2020, and then think about making another record. And so obviously there was no touring in 2020 or a lot of 2021. So yeah, I didn't have the chance to give it its fair shot.
Well, now you're back, and we'll be looking for tour dates. And next time you sweep through town, of course, it's you have an open invitation to always come and visit us, and maybe we could catch up with you at one of these venues around town where you're playing at. We're going to get into a cool version of the song "Lady Luck." And again, michaelmcarthurmusic.com is the website. Pre-order the new record, buy some merch. A little bit goes a long way if you just want to get that t-shirt. Anything else to touch on before we kind of wrap it up here?
Oh, no, man, I think this is great. And I want to thank you, Mookie, for having me. It's like we've hung a couple times now, and I appreciate your energy and I really appreciate being here.
Cold is the floor, turned up drunk again. Heaven knows I've been low before, but I sure could use a friend. Lady Luck, I'm in a bad way. Lady Luck, I know I can change if you bet on me, yeah. Up short again. Heaven knows I've been broke before, but I sure could use a friend. Lady Luck, I'm in a bad way. Lady Luck, I'm looking for change. Won't you bet on heaven knows I didn't fall before, but I sure could use a friend. Woo! Lady Luck, I'm in a bad way. Lady Luck, I know I can't change.